My name is Margaret N. Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in '41, brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. Both twins were murdered by Lina, their mother. They were born out of wedlock, and it was a pigsty. There's no other word for it. And the brutality was sickening, sickening. And I'm going to skip because I put this all on YouTube for for over a year now, and on Facebook. But I've been I found out about my kidnapping in '83 when I was in a political campaign and flown out to Larry Flint's, and I had written about mind control murders. And Larry Flint, the person that shot him, was programmed to shoot Mr. Flint in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I was living in Marietta, Georgia, and when he was shot. And I won't go into all of it, giving background. I just wanted to say that my mother was Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor. My aunt's Georgia O'Keefe, American artist, and my mother was born in Madison, Wisconsin. The O'Keefes were. My father married my mother, and history would tell you that he married the American spy, Wallace Simpson. She married a double, a look-alike. Now, the Americans have kept me here. I'm a hostage, just like they've made Great Britain and a lot of other countries. When, in 1939, I was born, and my dad's was a forced takedown. And my Uncle George grabbed the power, helped take my father down, helped kidnap me, and Joe Kennedy had been appointed ambassador to Great Britain during that time until he was kicked out in '46. And the Kennedy boys, JFK and the older one, stayed at the embassy a lot during that time. So the only way, I don't know how they brought me across the pond, so to speak. I do know there was Cortland Air Base back then that had just been built, and I'm assuming they flew me in there. I don't know how they did it. But it was a hell. Every day has been, like the FBI mentioned, stacking it, like stacking laws that have been committed against me and my sons, and I don't know where they are, and I'm getting redundant on the tapes trying to give background. So I'm heir to the British Crown, and that's legal documents that were covered up with a seal. My birth, the illegal takedown of my father, and by the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and Kennedys, and the Clintons are part of the New World Order. I suppose most of the presidents here were. The part I wanted to say is they've done such crimes to me on a daily basis, and my sons, that if it were ever told to the world, I don't think for one moment the truth would be all you need. It's so hideous. But I want to say the Turkey. In Turkey, yesterday I believe it was, they were telling about this morning about some American military, I think 4 or 5, were there in Turkey, and they were attacked by the Turkish citizens, some of them. And the State Department here said it was a horrible thing, et cetera, et cetera. My God, I have had no civil rights. I have been tortured all my life. I'm a hostage. The law will not help me, no one. They scatter. They don't want any part of it. And here you've got Russia, the United States media tonight, and it's the spin they give on it, talking about Russia and the Ukraine. Now, God, are you noticing how many countries the United States has bombed and slaughtered? And they've used my country, the illegal treaties that were signed by my Uncle George, who's illegal, and then Elizabeth has continued in his footsteps, and they signed treaties that allowed the United States to take control of everything that was British, including me, the monarch, and put their military bases on everything British and use it as a launching pad to conquer the world, global dominance. The Illuminati, they're what's in power now, the global government, and President Obama is part of that. Now then, they're talking about Obama being down in, and Putin down, I believe Putin's with them, yeah, down in Australia. If you remember, Australia is part of the British Commonwealth. And there is an Area 51 that the United States has down there. Isn't it odd that they denied having an Area 51 out west here? And now they got one in Australia. How on earth can any news media here lie? And this is all they're doing. They're lying. And the people love it. Don't tell them the truth here. They want to go on pretending they're the good guys and the savior of this world when they're the crooks and the killers, rolling over and taking everything in sight. And if you try not to lay down and die for them and hand it over, then you're bad and they'll get you. So they're complaining here about Putin is, well, he's going to be down in Australia, but they're talking about sending Russian bombers close to the United States. And now the United States is complaining about that while they've got me here for one thing. I'd like to hear them explain that and tell the truth about all of it and why they have tortured me and my sons. My mom and dad they took down, so they were taking down leaders that didn't agree and roll over for them way back then. Even King Ferdinand was killed. Mind control was used on him. And Tsar Nicholas is a cousin of mine. Look what they did to Tsar Nicholas's family. And by the way, I didn't know I would end up here in Roanoke, living on top of the mountain, full heart knob, freezing, starving on the Appalachian Trail, walking up and down the side of the road just to have, because they blocked me, man, the law enforcement, and the people went along with it. But what I want to say before this video goes off, that this was Anastasia that was in Charlottesville. And history won't record that either. So history is alive where it comes to my father's takedown, to the killing of Tsar Nicholas, and what's happening to me. And Anastasia, that is sick what happened to her. I hope that's told too, what has been done to Russia and the killing of the Tsar and his family, and then bringing in Anastasia was over here. And I got a hold of documents which were given to me, and you can't get the media to print it. And I don't have them anymore, but they were from Charlottesville courts. And that was Anna. And some of the royal family, I guess, I can't remember now, was here in Charlottesville. But some of the people that were so mean to her and ended up with what things she had, and I think they ended up with her home. It was weird. Blue Ridge Mental Health killed her. They hauled her in and killed her, as far as I know, with Halidol and God knows what else, while her husband, Manahan, was a professor at the University of Charlottesville, and he drove a car through the fence trying to get her out. Now, they did everything in the book, and they slandered her. I could not believe what I read about what the people around there just made up and said about her. But that's what happened. There's a lot more to that, and the United States isn't going to tell it. And Woodrow Wilson, was part of having them orchestrating the takedown of Tsar Nicholas. Let me say that. It wasn't just the Russian army there that was involved, or the killing of Ferdinand. They're into programming, and they took down my father because he's a decent, good man, and they couldn't buy it. I want to mention one more. You may not have liked the man. I did. I lived, that's where they took me, to Alabama, and I grew up. George Wallace. You know why I liked him? Because they couldn't buy him. And that's part of why they killed him. He was really the chance that this country had, that he wouldn't have rolled over for the New World Order and been a part of it. And that's why he was shot. And you know who was with him when he was shot? And he didn't like her. She worked in his campaign, and he didn't like it. I know that much. Lina Dempsey, the woman that killed her twins, and the one that I was told was my mother. And what she did to me and helped trying to kill me to cover up the crime, of killing her twins, and then she